What are the best neighborhoods in Charlotte, North Carolina, specifically in South Charlotte? Well, today we're going to talk about why this area and these 3 neighborhoods are some of the best places that you can live in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, you might ask what qualifies these to be the best. So as a realtor, these are neighborhoods that my clients really love, where they tend to gravitate towards. And these are also neighborhoods that have ranked really high in terms of the best places to live in Charlotte and the best places to raise a family in Charlotte, according to niche.com. Now, to give you an idea of what it's like to live in this area, we are going to drive through 3 neighborhoods. I'm going to give you some information, and then I'm also going to tell you the one big reason why personally I don't love this section of town. By the way, my name is Melena. I am a local realtor here. I specialize in helping people relocate to Charlotte, as well as helping people buy and sell houses. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. All my info is below. Let's get into it. So before we get into the neighborhoods, let's talk a little bit about this area. So if we look at our map here, this section, this pie-shaped area, this is going to be South Charlotte. And it's a pretty big area. So it's going to start right up here at Dilworth, and it's going to go down to the Ballantyne and Providence area. And it's going to go as far east as Cotswold and Sardis area, and as far west as 77. Now, since there are so many neighborhoods in South Charlotte, for the purposes of this video, we are just going to be focusing in on this center section right here. This is going to be close to SouthPark. Now, SouthPark is an area of Charlotte, and it's home to SouthPark Mall, which is not your standard mall. This is going to be an upscale luxury mall. So you will still have your normal department stores, but this mall is really known to house the premium high-end retailers like Gucci and Louis Vuitton. Over the last few years, SouthPark, the area, has become so much more than just a mall. The people who tend to love living here are people who typically want the perks and convenience of living in the city combined with a more relaxed family suburban lifestyle. Living in this area, you will have a ton of great entertainment options for you and your family. You'll have amazing local restaurants, trendy boutiques, and fitness centers. And Steak 48, one of the restaurants, was actually listed as one of the top 100 steakhouses in the US by Open Table. So really good restaurants. And this area also has some of the most popular family-friendly events in the city. Symphony Park hosts a ton of these events, in addition to several other festivals throughout the year. And this park is really known for their free live music events. They have food trucks, face painting. It is families galore. And I say this all the time, but Charlotte is an incredibly friendly city. So these events are great ways for you and your family to meet people if you're new to the area. And Symphony Park also goes all out for the holidays. So they have a winter wonderland, and it has this open air ice skating rink with holiday activities. It is a lot of fun. If you want to go out for a date night or an evening out, you have rooftop lounges, wine bars, a movie theater. And as far as convenience, you'll have Harris Teeter, which is going to be locally known as Taj Teeter because it is massive. And you're also going to have Whole Foods, and those will be your main grocery stores. And there's also a lot of doctor's offices and veterinarian clinics. So your day-to-day activities are going to be very easy and very accessible living in this area. You really don't have to leave the confines of this area unless it's to go to work. And I was actually driving around the other day, and I was thinking that that area really has become like its own city within a city, albeit a very upscale and posh city, because this is a more affluent area in Charlotte. And even still, you can still find a house in one of the surrounding neighborhoods in the high 500s. So on that note, let's talk about housing. So first up, we're going to talk about Barclay Downs. Look at our map. Your commute uptown will be about 15 to 20 minutes during rush hour, and the airport is about 20 minutes away. Now, niche.com has rated this neighborhood an A+. Now, this neighborhood will come with a more premium price tag. Being so close to the city, it's only about a 10-minute drive without traffic, and it's a really desirable area. It's also going to be a little different than the next 2 neighborhoods we're talking about. Although most of the houses in this area were built between the 50s and 60s, because these lots are so premium, you will see some of the houses have been demoed and new houses have been rebuilt. So the square footage is going to be all over the place in this neighborhood. It's going to range from 1,500 square feet all the way up to 5,000. Pricing will also vary pretty greatly, with recent sales showing the values to be between 700 to 1.7 million, but the median price is about 1 million. Barclay Downs has a voluntary HOA and a swim and racket club. Next up, we're going to visit Mountainbrook, which is one of the more unique neighborhoods in Charlotte. And if we look back at our map, we'll see that Mountainbrook is going to be about 30 to 40 minutes from uptown if you're commuting during rush hour, and it's about 30 minutes from the airport. And I actually think this is a good point for me to tell you my least favorite thing about living in this area of Charlotte, and that is the traffic. So this area gets incredibly congested. If you have to commute uptown, you are not going to be able to take the freeways. You're going to want to take the back roads because it's just a mess in its own. And because it's an older part of town, the infrastructure and the roads just really weren't built for the traffic. And so you'll be standing in just gridlock traffic trying to push your way through for the longest time. And I had an office in SouthPark for many, many years, so I understand the traffic patterns like the back of my hand. And this area just drove me crazy with just standing still and no one driving because you can't. You're kind of stuck. And it also gets really bad during the holiday because you have holiday shopping traffic. But if you work from home or traffic doesn't bother you, then this really is a non-issue. And it won't be that hard to overlook the traffic because these neighborhoods really do have many great benefits, including Mountainbrook. And I love this neighborhood. So do a lot of people. So according to niche.com, this has an A+ report card. It's also ranked 10 best neighborhoods to raise a family in Charlotte, number 16 for the best neighborhoods to live in Charlotte, and number 21 for the best neighborhoods to buy a house in Charlotte. Clearly, people are fans. What makes this neighborhood so unique are the hills, and it is called Mountainbrook for a reason. Charlotte is not that hilly, and this region of North Carolina it's flat. So houses in Mountainbrook will be built between the 50s and the 70s, and some of them are really unique. Now, for the most part, you will find a lot of ranches. You're also going to have your standard 2 stories, split levels, and tri-levels. Square footage is going to range from 2,000 to 4,000, and prices will range from 600 to 1.2 mil, with a median price of $975K. Mountainbrook does have a voluntary HOA and a swim and racket club. In the middle of the neighborhood is access to the McMullen Creek Greenway, and this is where you can walk, hike, and mountain bike. This is a great neighborhood if you love the outdoors. So next up we have Beverly Woods, and this is a really well-known neighborhood in this area, and it is incredibly popular. So according to niche.com, it has an A+ report card. It's also ranked as number 4 best neighborhoods to raise a family in Charlotte, number 8 for the best neighborhoods to live in Charlotte, and number 22 for the best neighborhoods to buy a house in Charlotte. Beverly Woods is pretty much right next to Mountainbrook, so your commute is going to be very similar. Your commute to uptown during rush hour is going to be about 15 to 20 minutes, and the airport is going to be about 30 minutes. A square footage is going to range from 1,300 to 3,500, which is a pretty big range. Home values will also range from the 500s to the 800s, with the median price being around $690. Houses will be built in between the 50s to the 70s. There'll be ranches, 2 stories, tri-levels, and split levels. They will have a voluntary HOA and their own swim and racket club. So there you go, that wraps up everything I have to tell you about these amazing neighborhoods in South Charlotte. If you have any questions or if you want to hear about any other neighborhoods, please let me know, leave me a comment, please subscribe, and I look forward to connecting.